Hey, Spooky Nick.
Spook-isodes, hey guys.
What's happening, man?
Not much, buddy.
It's October.
It's October.
Means the first of our Spook-isodes.
Spook-isodes. We are watching horror movies all month.
We are. I have not watched anything but horror since
really?
October.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But that doesn't mean I've watched a whole heap of stuff. It just means that I've only watched horror
movies.
Welcome to Nick Tyson Videotape. Welcome to our special month of Spook-isodes. October has begun.
Episode number?
It's episode number 78.
78.
Today we're going to be having a look at like possibly one of the most famous horror films of all time.
I've been waiting.
Classic.
I've been waiting.
Like a huge amount of people's favourite horror film. That is 1984.
1984, best film for cinema? Is it best year for cinema? Is that what you always say?
Oh, I like 1984. 84 is a great year for cinema.
Yeah.
We're talking about Nightmare
on Elm Street.
I'm very excited, Nick. This is going to be a wonderful conversation. That's kicking off our month of completely horror movie focused episodes.
Yep.
We've got some really exciting stuff coming this month.
We do.
So by all means, jump on the social medias if you want to have a chat to us. Where are those social medias?
Those social medias are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube's not a social media, but we're on YouTube.
Instagram?
Yeah. Instagram.
That's another one.
Yeah. Did I say that already?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. But you can listen to our episodes on YouTube as well.
Can.
Or you can find our show on the iTunes network. Where else, Nick?
That's true. Outcast, any other place that
Stitcher?
you listen to podcasts. Yeah, TuneIn Radio.
Yeah. There's all kinds of places you can track us down.
All kinds of places.
We've got 77 other episodes that you can devour at your own pleasure.
But we say pick a movie that we've done and listen to it.
Yeah, pick a movie that you like and listen to us shit on it.
Or if you like, if you like me, I like to start. If I'm going to start a podcast, I like to start at the start.
Well, look,
and you'll hear me and Tyson just fumble our way through.
Yeah, look, those first 20 or so episodes are pretty hard going, but we find our groove eventually.
Look, there's some fun ones in there.
There are. We had a good time, and that's what's important.
We did.
Well, it is October, and we've got some really exciting things coming.
We do.
It's always a fun month of movie watching. I've actually been looking forward to October this year.
Oh, really? Well, you've been a bit brave this year, Tice. You've jumped on the horror bandwagon.
Yeah, look,
I'm not gonna be deterred. I'm gonna watch some.
I
horror.
am much better with horror movies in the last 18 months or so.
Okay,
I think since we started the show. Actually, I reckon I've become a lot more comfortable watching horror films.
Okay.
And I was actually really excited about October this year. I was like, oh my God, I get to watch a whole bunch of horror movies because I don't really watch them during the year.
Oh, okay.
Unless sometimes the mood strikes me and I'm like, yeah, let's watch a horror movie.
Or if it's Stephen King's It, the remake of It.
That's it.
Like,
That's it. A Stephen King film rolls around.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped for a month of nothing but horror.
We've got some good ones coming up. There's one in there
up
that I have never seen that's always been on my list. So we'll get to that later.
That's a bit of sizzle for next week's episode. Before we do chat our horror movie extravaganzas, let's start the show as we
some trailers
regularly start. Yes.
Fun.
Everybody's talking
trailers. Okay.
All right.
So we'll do a non-horror film first.
Okay.
And then we'll do
a horror film.
Just to keep, just to slide us into our feature prez. Should we talk? So we're talking about which one first?
Let's talk. I think it's just Mule. I'm going to look it up. It's not The Mule. I think it's Mule.
Maybe.
I was right. It's The Mule.
The Mule.
There you go. No, yes.
Family's the most important thing. Don't do what I did. I put work in front of family. I thought it was more important to be somebody out there than the damn failure I was in my own home. I was a terrible father. Terrible husband. Blew my chance. I didn't deserve forgiveness. This is the last one. So help me God. This is the last one. what it's worth, I'm sorry for everything.
I forget to leave room. That's okay.
No, that was good. That was a good space for
Did
it.
you like that?
I liked that one.
So, my friend Tice just watched this. What was your first reactions, Tice, to this? Because this is you've got Clint Eastwood. And
I'm a huge Clint Eastwood fan.
Me too.
Lately, I don't care as much.
He's been a bit hit and miss after, you would say after Gran Torino, but a lot of people didn't rate Gran Torino.
I don't rate Gran Torino very much.
All right.
As a director, I think he has the ability to do really excellent stuff and not as interesting stuff. As an actor, I always find it very interesting what he chooses to be in.
Oh, okay.
I still think that's really interesting, and so this has kind of got me interested because I don't know how much longer we're going to have Clint Eastwood around.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he's looking very old now.
Oh, he's looking old.
That said, though, Tice, he's not looking as weird as who did I say before?
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. He's not looking as weird as fucking Mickey
fair.
Rourke.
Clint Eastwood has just kind of aged like a normal human being should age.
He's aged well.
Yeah, and like, you know, it's funny because as long as I can remember, he's just been an old man. Like,
there's no young. It went from like mid-20s, every which way but loose, and then bang, old man.
Exactly, bang, old man. Like,
but he still looks like if he punched you, he would knock you the fuck out.
Well, I don't know.
No, he would.
Not now.
No, he does.
Watching this
does
trailer, I reckon a stiff wind and he'd be on the ground in this trailer. So this looks like it's he's directing. It's a little bit more. I mean, I didn't know what I assumed from the title, but it's not the movie that the trailer appeared to be. I think I was kind of thinking, I thought it might be something that he's. That he was just starring in.
Oh, okay.
But because he's chosen, he's directing it, he's starring in it. It's got a real kind of, you know, the vibe it gives me. It gives me the vibe of watching that Johnny Cash cover of Hurt, the film clip for that.
Yeah,
it looks like one of those. Like, it looks like everyone's aware that any second now he's not going to wake up.
Yeah.
And this is one of those movies that is kind of reflecting on his life as a whole.
There's a lot of... This is because when watching the trailer that we watch, you find out that he's a drug mule, and that's where it's come from. So there's a lot of him reflecting on his past because he is an old man.
Yeah. And
he's saying, you know, this is the last time. And I'm like, is this your last film, Clint? Are you clocking out? Is that what's going on?
Maybe.
You know.
I mean, there comes a point where he's just got to say,
you know what, I'm done.
Yeah, I want to just like...
Starring and directing, that's not just an easy thing to do.
No.
You've got to be on the ball.
From all reports, though, Clint Eastwood as a director is the most efficient guy in the world.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from reviews as well.
He is not your David Finchers or anything like that.
Or your Michael Manns. He
goes in, he makes sure that everybody is like, okay, everyone knows exactly what they're doing. It's one or two takes, and then it's like, okay, great, I think we got it. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
And which I kind of love. I love that mentality. But apparently he's very humble too. He's a very it's come to light recently that politically he may not be the most forward-thinking person in the world.
Sure.
And that's fine. People have their political opinions.
Each their own.
But yeah, I remember reading. I've probably talked about this, but I was reading the William Goldman book. I can't remember which one it is. Is it Which Lie Did I Tell? Maybe that one.
Yeah.
And he talks about how, because he wrote the screenplay for Absolute Power.
Oh yeah. No, that's not John. Is that John Travolta? No,
it's
that's him.
It's Gene Hackman is the president.
That's right.
And William Goldman talks about stuff like how he would watch Clint Eastwood on set, and it's almost like it's like this quiet, peaceful place. Like everything is everyone's just like just calm and relaxed, doing their thing. He calls, it's like, doesn't matter what it is. It's like, looks at his watch. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. That's lunch, people. We're gonna take lunch.
Yeah.
And he goes and stands in line with everybody else.
Doesn't get anyone
to
bring him lunch. No.
Goes and sits down, has lunch. He'll sit with whoever's around and just has a chat. And it's all he seems like a real, we're doing this because it's like we love it, but he's never gonna be one of those guys that is like fanatical or
he doesn't scream into action. He doesn't do that. No,
he's
no.
not
He'd
Kubrick
be the guy
forcing people to have fucking mental breakdowns to get the shot that he wants.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes that gives us good films. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this looks really promising, I think.
You see, it was a hit and miss. So J. Edgar, Jersey Boys, American Sniper,
which I haven't seen, I'll be honest.
And then Sully, which I was like,
Sully I heard was good. He keeps churning them out, man. Doesn't he? Like, it didn't, the train to Paris.
15, 17
that was
Paris,
like, what was that? That was 6 months ago. Yeah. Like, he's got
him in the cannon. He knows what he's doing. He's like, yeah.
But that's how efficient he is, because I think he can look at a script and go, we can film this in 14 days, 18 days.
Yeah.
We'll be right.
What was your first? We're kind of going on a Clint Eastwood thing here.
No, why not?
But what was your? Clint Eastwood's a decent director. Like, what the fuck? Because mine was the stellar for me is Mystic River. I've always loved Mystic River, especially because you see the type of actor that Sean Penn can be. The other one it came out in like the 2000s, or it was, this wasn't A Perfect World, even though A Perfect World is awesome. You would say Unforgiven. Would you say Unforgiven?
Yes, 100%.
What was the one where it was, or maybe it was one he just starred in? Good one, Nicholas.
This is riveting stuff. No, but you are right. Unforgiven is like a closet favorite movie of mine. I forget that it exists sometimes.
Oh, really?
And then when people say, "Oh, how good is Unforgiven?" I realize that it jumps like into my top 5 almost instantaneously.
Really?
I love it.
It was one with. Oh no, I don't remember.
I actually think A Perfect World is super underrated too. Big fan, huge fan.
It was one with. I'm pretty sure it was with John Travolta.
He directed something with John Travolta.
I think.
Really?
I could be wrong. It was really good. And now it's gone.
I can't think of what movie that might be.
I'm probably wrong. I'm probably dead wrong.
Dead wrong.
Anyway, but I want to see the mule, Tice. I really do, not only because of the trailer and seeing like an old man who's a drug mule but the cast of this thing. Like, obviously, if you're not going to say no, hey, I'm making a movie. My name's Clint Eastwood. Do you want to be in it? No one's like, nah, I'm good.
Oh man, you'd want the opportunity just to kind of to be around him. He's like. He's such an old school Hollywood star. Like he's
one of the last ones.
One of the last of that era, really. Like, I mean, he obviously reached the height of his fame in the 70s. So he's not, I guess maybe was it a bit earlier though? But as a we don't have. You're right. We don't have a lot of these guys left.
No, like Jack Nicholson isn't doing movies anymore.
No,
he's happy with his mans. He's like, yeah, no, you don't need me.
That's it. But just to have the opportunity, if someone says, "Hey, come and do this," of course you're
like, yeah, fair deal.
Yeah, I'd say probably the late 60s. He really kind of started becoming a really big deal.
But you've got Diane Weiss, you've got Bradley Cooper, you've got Michael Pena, Lawrence Fishburne. I love Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, the fish, Larry Fish.
I can't take Bradley Cooper in a serious role. That's another reason why I want to see this.
Well,
he's a comedic role guy for me.
Well, I agree, because I really liked him in Silver Linings Playbook, but he was still doing a thing.
It was a thing.
I'm very interested to watch A Star Is Born.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
oh, really?
I'm very interested to watch that. I've heard that that's excellent.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think he's going to do some cool work. But yeah, this is So I will definitely watch this, because I think
fair deal.
It has kind of dawned on me, especially after watching a trailer like that, when you go, oh yeah, right, he's on death's door. This is a movie that's commenting on, like, it's obviously a life reflective kind of thing, which he's already done before, but this one looks like it's really focusing on that. Like I said, it gives me the Johnny Cash vibes like crazy.
Yeah.
So
especially because he's talking about I wasn't the best father.
Yeah,
maybe I
all
wasn't
that
the best
kind of
husband.
stuff.
Things like that.
So, I'm very interested, because I don't want to. I think I want to kind of acknowledge a bit more of his work, and so this
Yeah.
is a way to do it.
Yeah, fair
Watch this
deal.
last one. Go back and watch some of the ones I've missed. I've watched most of the westerns.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't watched any of them. I've watched nothing.
Like some of them are really
I've watched no
great.
spaghetti westerns.
Well, see, I haven't seen many of the spaghetti, like the Sergio Leone
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I've seen like the stuff he's done, like Josie Wales and Pale
Yeah.
Rider and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
Yeah.
there's some really good stuff in those. But yeah, there's that middle patch around the 90s and early 2000s where he was doing like kind of adult thrillers.
Yeah.
That I've kind of
I'm
never
pretty
watched.
sure that the fucking John Travolta one was.
Yeah, it probably
No,
was.
It's not there.
He's in, like,
Is it Absolute Power? It's not Absolute Power. That was
he
him.
might-
Yeah.
he's the main guy in that. Not like, is he a supporting role in like Blood Work or something like that? Maybe, I don't know.
Bloodwork 2002. See, $1 Million Baby, I didn't rate. Everyone rated it, and it
I
won
love
awards, and I was like,
$1
you know
Baby.
what? That was boring as fuck to me.
No, really?
Yeah.
I loved
And
it.
then it just withered away. That ending, that last 15.
Oh, it's sad.
Jesus Christ, that's
heartbreaking.
fucking morbid.
Yep.
I was like, yeah, no.
All right.
Let's move on.
I think they talked a bit about enough of that.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
Why don't we
Yeah,
do this
fair
horror
deal.
movie?
Horror movie.
What's it called?
Don't look away. Look
No,
away.
Look Away.
Oh, look away.
It's a jungle out there. You sure you want to go to school looking like that?
What?
I really didn't mean to do that.
Who are you? You don't remember me?
We have a screwed up daughter. She has no friends.
He's mine, you know.
She has no confidence.
This is your time to shine. I can fix things. Let me help you. Trust me. Let me be there for you. Instead of you.
Morning, Ice Queen.
What? Am I not funny anymore? I doubt it.
You're dead.
Why are you doing this? Self-improvement. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Look Away. Cool. So obviously it's October. We probably wouldn't have talked about this movie if it wasn't October, but we want to do a horror movie as well.
That's true. Well, because so many horror trailers come out, like there's at least one a week. You get one a week.
Yeah, most of them are garbage.
You get one a week. So we're going to be talking about one.
But this one looks
this one was,
interesting.
yeah.
I like the premise.
Especially with Mira Sorvino, Jason Isaacs, you know.
Yeah, so like decent supporting cast, you know.
Something
You're
there.
filling out the edges with people that we know can act.
Yeah.
Which is good. We get this really interesting premise of the idea of the split personality, but it's represented through a mirror.
Through a mirror.
Through her, what looks like a bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
And I think that's very clever. And
Very Alice in Wonderland vibes.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. And but it just gives us it gives you the opportunity to do some really cool thematic stuff, I think. And by having like, you know, while she's this troubled girl who is obviously not fitting in, is getting bullied. All that kind of stuff.
Even her parents are noticing
parents-
that she's weird.
and they're
I'm
giving
like,
me weird vibes as
Yeah.
well, the parents,
Yeah.
like that they might not be the greatest people in the world.
Exactly.
And yeah.
And so she kind of split. She kind of
Well,
lets
there's
the
a
other one
great
take-
little
lets the
moment in
other
the
one
trailer,
take
yeah,
over.
where her alter ego on the other side of the mirror basically just shows up and says, "Hey, let me run
take
things
over."
for a while."
Yeah, yeah. but then she can't go back, Tyson.
And then now
how can she go back?
the real version, or I guess, you know, but I mean, this is what it is, that the movie itself is probably going to
Exactly.
explore this stuff, is that both versions of it
Her are still her. Yeah. Maybe they merge.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's not. Maybe it is like a malevolent spirit.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? That takes
That's
her
taken
form.
over.
I don't know, but it's a cool premise, I think.
Look-
It obviously gives us an opportunity to do some cool visual stuff with on the either side of the mirror. We'll have shots of her on the other side in whatever that world is, the upside down basically. Banging on the glass and trying to stop her from doing stuff.
But does she, when she passes other mirrors, does she see her as well?
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is she in all reflective surfaces? Oh, that's good too. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Or does she find a way to break the spell, maybe just by smashing the mirror that was the original mirror? This is what I'm thinking of.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I love how to represent that she's now no longer a shy girl. She just goes up and rubs some guy's crotch. I was like, really?
I know.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah.
I love how that, like, for a filmmaker's point of view, it's like, all right, get her to grab some junk.
They're like, really? That's what we're going to... Yeah, we're going to go like that. That's the first thing.
Okay, sure.
Jesus.
No, fair enough.
Yep.
Are
you going to watch this, Tice?
I'm interested enough, I think.
Yeah, fair deal.
But, it's always hard to say with horror films because I think quality control on horror films
is out the window.
It's pretty,
if you have a horror movie, if it even has a hint of a possible franchise, we're jumping on.
Oh, hey, excuse me.
Oh, Tyson, it's a bit early.
It is early. We're doing one of our morning sessions.
It's a morning sesh.
Yeah. Some of it is just whatever gets its way through because you can make serious coin off horror films.
You can.
You make the movie for $1 million, and if you make 5, it's bank.
Dude.
And so, people don't really... the quality control is obviously low.
That's true.
So I'll wait and see if there's enough in that trailer to have me kind of interested.
Yeah,
if there's a couple of good reviews, but I've said that before. Like I remember, I really enjoyed the trailer for that Winchester. Remember that?
Yeah,
I think we talked about it.
That's right.
Which was the Spree brothers.
Yeah.
And apparently that was garbage. Like the reviews were terrible, and it was kind of like, well, then I guess I might wait until it popped up on some kind of streaming thing,
and then go
like
from there.
And then,
yeah,
I think with horror films, it is good to listen to the crowd. I think the horror community are usually
they're pretty on the ball.
savvy with
You'll
that
hear
kind of
about
stuff.
it if it's really awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like when we did Don't Breathe last Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
And word of that just. It spread.
Exactly.
It spread
that was everyone. Everyone knew that was a winner, and it was well worth watching. There was lots of talk about it, and so they're the kind of ones that you can put your bank on.
Exactly.
So I just I hold out for that kind of stuff, really, to be honest.
Yeah. Do you know what's not getting good win, Tice?
What's that?
That's Venom.
Oh, I have not had a single review read yet. What's the consensus?
Oh, Tice, it is a sad state of affairs.
Oh, really? I was thinking about going to see it. No?
Please do. Be the person that changes everyone's mind, Tice.
No, I probably won't.
Why?
I'm going in with pretty low expectations.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Go in with low, and you'll be rad.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Just sit down and be like, well, this is going to be shit.
And then and you'll be like, oh, wow.
And when it's only just a little bit shit, it's
exactly. That's what I like to do.
Not bad.
What did I do? What was the last movie I did that with? Oh, Justice League. I was like, this is going to be fucking shit. I can't wait for this. And then I was like...
And it was absolute shit.
Wow, that was fucking crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that didn't pain.
You can't set the bar low enough for that. All right. I think we should move on.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Feature presentation.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, my God.
And now our feature program.
All right.
Ooh, scary.
Ooh.
Oh, I like it. Tyson, did you watch it in the dark?
I did not watch it in the dark.
Okay.
I watched it by myself at night time.
Oh!
I had a lamp on.
Well done.
Yes, thank you kindly.
Tyson.
Thank you
well
kindly.
Done.
We are talking about 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, baby. Directed and written by Wes Craven.
The great man, Wes Craven.
The great
R.I.P. Wes.
Wesy.
We miss you.
We do. What is your first interactions with A Nightmare on Elm Street? What was the first one? First one you watched?
So the first one I watched was 3.
Was 3? Oh,
yeah.
Dream Warriors.
And this is as a pretty young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was
deal.
just I either taped it off television or I rented it from the local store or something. But it might have even been my brother, or I watched it asleep. Like I have very little recollection of it, other than I know that I've seen it.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you much about it anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, fair deal. It is the fan favourite, the 3. 3 is the fan favourite.
I remember being hideously terrified by the trailer for 5.
5, yeah.
The Dream Child.
Dream Child.
Because there was the teaser trailer for it, which I saw in a cinema. Was just a bassinet, and the Freddy jingle, but played on like a music box or something.
Oh yeah,
and the camera would just slowly panning in to the fucking bassinet.
Yep.
And I can't even remember how the trailer ended. I believe that it was probably like his face in, or
I
they
think it was
pulled
a
the
little
sheet
baby
away.
rattle or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember that legitimately terrifying me as a child.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
What else?
That's awesome. My first interactions was I was being babysit by my grandparents,
Right.
and they were going to visit a friend of theirs, so they took me with them. And they're like, "Oh, Nick, you can sit in here and watch TV, and we're just going to talk in this room." I was like, "Oh yeah, fair deal." And I knew because of all the ads on TV that A Nightmare on Elm Street was on.
Right.
So I flicked it over to A Nightmare on Elm Street, and whenever a parent came in to check on me, I switched it back. So it was
good old fashioned sit by the TV
exactly,
so you can do the quick
switch,
dial.
quick switch over. And it scared me. It scared me. I believe I watched about 15 minutes, and I was like, "Nah, oh my god, this is scary." I was just so scared. It was so awesome, but I knew that I wasn't going to watch the end. I wasn't going to be able to watch the end, so I stopped watching.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I love this movie. I rate this film itself in my top 10 always.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I know it's not going to sit with most people, and there are holes, and it's not filmed well, and things like that.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think this is. If someone said to me that this is their favorite horror movie of all time, I don't think I would argue that point.
Okay.
Because I can see.
You can see
how iconic it has become.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first. I've seen parts of this, obviously,
right?
But this is the first time from start to finish that I've sat down and watched A Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's amazing.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Jesus, that's amazing.
Because it's just always been in the subconscious. So
You feel like you've
I
watched
have
it
the
already.
movie basically pieced together in my head. I'd seen every kill. I'd seen all the nightmare sequences.
You know about the bath scene. You know about all,
exactly.
all of this.
So as it was a really interesting experience because as it was going on, as each scene would start, I in my head would go, "Oh, this is the scene when this happens, and this is the scene when this happens." It was a really kind of strange experience. Like I can't think of a time when I've been so aware of every beat having not seen the film.
Okay.
It was a little odd experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it helped me enjoy it more or less because I kind of came down right in the middle on this.
You're like, "Oh, was that good? Did I enjoy myself?"
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I can see how it has become such a
The
huge
icon that
cultural
it is,
phenomenon.
Yeah.
I will definitely watch it again.
Oh, there you go. Okay, rewatchability.
I think its rewatchability is super high.
Yeah.
Because it's short.
It is.
It moves at a cracking pace. There is no time for anything.
We don't have wait times.
No.
There's no dull scene.
No.
There's no scene where I'm making a cup of tea. No. I'm glued to this thing.
And there's enough in it where you can watch it legitimately because it's a good movie.
Yep.
And because you want to have a good time as well. So there's stuff there that you can kind of have a good time watching.
It's one of the best date movies ever.
Well, it would be a cool date movie.
It would be a great
You're
date
right.
movie. So
You're right.
good. So this is probably I'm going to say around the 40th time that I've seen this film.
Okay. Yeah. That's so interesting.
I do have it on DVD. I do have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, I have the box set. I have the box set on DVD.
Lovely.
And I ripped the shrink wrap off it to watch this because
that's awesome.
It's been sitting there since because it went on sale really cheap at JB like years ago.
It was like $12.98 or something, or like $15.98.
I think I got it for $15.98.
Yeah, fair deal.
And that's seven. It's
7 movies.
Yeah, 7 movies
Come on.
and a bonus disc. There's not a lot of special features on each of the individual discs, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
But
no. You get if you are a fan, you get the documentary film that we've talked about that goes for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, which I have seen.
Yeah,
which is.
This is probably why, Tice. So if you know everything that's happened, the
because
backstory, and everything like that.
I find the franchise itself fascinating, and the character fascinating, and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's weird. I've just never sat down and actually watched the films.
No, straight, fair deal.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm getting a bit hoarse.
That's all right. Opening sequence. The title, that start opening sequence is probably one of my favourites. That and 7, hands down. I love it. It sets the tone so well for the film.
It does. It's good. What's happening? That's before he's died, though. Yes, when he's making the. So he. Excuse me.
Get it out, Tice.
I'm going to be like the kid on The Simpsons today.
Yeah.
Correct me, what's going on?
He is making the glove.
He's making the glove.
Yeah.
So he used the glove to kill kids.
He did.
When he was alive.
That's true.
Right, good.
Yeah. You don't get a lot of... There's not a lot of back... Or you do get a little bit of backstory.
But you get the sit down with the mum.
Yeah.
But I might have missed a few details here and there. I was definitely paying attention, but I remember there were little bits where I was like... did I get all that? Or was I staring at her weird eyes?
Oh, yeah. I love her. I love her.
We'll get to some performances later because there's some interesting stuff.
But yeah, I like the opening sequence because it sets the tone and it also sets up a lot of questions like what the fuck is going on? What is this thing? It's such a good start because the glove that he uses is so iconic. You're like, oh my god, I'm seeing this thing get made. So anyone watching this movie today is like, oh yeah, making the glove. Okay, I know what's going on. I know where that glove is. I know what it is. I know what's going on.
Well, the movie's almost better when you know just how culturally significant that stuff is.
I'd rather go in blind.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like in a perfect world, every movie you should go into without any knowledge. But I'm saying I think this movie's almost better. because of what you just said. Because it is such an iconic weapon. Yeah. The first shot of it. So if you had never seen Nightmare on Elm Street, everyone knows who Freddy Krueger is. Though.
Yeah.
You ask any single person, they will know who Freddy Krueger is.
There's a Rick and Morty episode about him.
I do love that. That's so good.
Whatever, bitch.
And so when you push play on your DVD or whatever you're watching it on, and the first thing you see, are the feet walking through, picking up the whatever he melts down.
A piece of metal and a knife, and he starts welding. And you're like, what the fuck?
And so you get to see the iconic weapon, the very first thing that you see. If you... In 1984, yes, that experience is also awesome because you're like, holy shit, what is this? That looks terrifying. But in 2018...
Yeah, you get a different reaction.
Yeah,
you get oh my god,
there it is.
Fuck.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that.
The first thing we see is the creation of that of the most iconic horror movie weapon. Yeah. Aside from maybe Texas Chainsaws.
No, maybe the hockey mask. I would say a hockey. It's not a weapon, but the hockey mask is more of a iconic thing. Yeah. The next thing I've written down is one of the main things I like about A Nightmare on Elm Street is the fact that Wes plays with that you are getting killed in a nightmare, that it is a nightmare. So things happen that you can't explain, such as two of my favorites is the random sheep that just runs across the screen and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like in that first,
yeah.
And then later on when she's in the school, she's having a dream about the school, the whole hallway is just filled with autumn leaves. And you're like, what is going on? So it's the nightmare imagery that you have that we all identify with because we've all had nightmares, things that you can't explain. You're like, yeah, and then there was, if anyone has told a dream or a night, I had this nightmare before, which no one wants to hear. You're like, and then this happened for some reason. And then this happened. So it's just fucking surreal, and I love that Wes plays with that. It's so fun.
There's a really tough balance, I think, on that kind of stuff, where it's like how much is too much and how little is too little. If you want to create a dream landscape, I think sometimes movies take it too far, and it's just like you're floating through air, and it's like things just magically appearing. And
the sky is that fast clouds,
clouds.
You're like, what the fuck is going on?
So I like the dream imagery in this because there are signifiers there, but we don't always know if we're in the dream until we know we're definitely in the dream, which I think is really cool because there are moments in it where anytime anyone even briefly shuts their eyes,
it could be a dream.
We know that it could be a dream, and he plays with us the whole time.
Yeah.
And so even when it's not a dream, we still have that doubt in our mind that, did she just fall asleep then? Oh shit, this is the start of another dream. And so we watch for the clues and we watch for the signifiers. And even then, like you even saying about the autumn leaves, I think I noticed them, but I think it was only subconscious because I don't really recall that right now.
Yeah.
So until you said it, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, shit yeah.
Yeah.
So it is subconscious signifiers for that, which I think is really clever.
It's so good. And it's the one thing that I don't, like you said, how other movies go, I think they go overboard in every other, Nightmare sequel. It's not subtle. And it's either not subtle or they don't use the fact that Freddy Krueger kills you in a nightmare. So you are going to have those things.
Isn't he just in the real world in the second one anyway? Like, doesn't he just...
Yes, that's true. We'll get to that when we do Nightmare 2, which we're going to do because it is just fucking balls ass fucking insane.
Well, that's what I've heard. Yeah, it's bonkers. So I can't wait.
But yeah, he doesn't. It's a bit too much. Oh, this is the Nightmare world.
Sure.
Like in the other sequels.
Well, yeah, I really, really was digging that. I think the production design of this film overall is really excellent.
Yeah.
Because and they just when they do decide to really go balls deep with the dreams, it's pretty intense. Like, I've got to tell you though, I'll be 100% honest.
I'll go for it. Oh,
I don't find this movie scary at all.
Yeah, fair deal.
And that's okay.
No,
like,
that's fine.
I think that's why. Like, it's okay. I went into it thinking, all right, here we go. Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, cool.
But that's okay.
Possibly
that's
the
good.
scariest movie of all time.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's scary. I think it would have been.
Sure.
But you, Tyson, living in 2018, having seen a film like Green Room or Don't Breathe or all of these things that have made the bar not high, just different.
Yeah.
So A Nightmare on Elm Street isn't going to really scare people anymore, I don't feel.
Sure. I think...
Especially because you know how much the studio played on Freddy being almost a comic in the end.
Yeah, exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
I think, and I have that imagery in my head more so than
Him on
this.
the beach with the fucking shades.
Yeah,
like,
drinking a cool Pepsi. Or whatever
Pepsi
he
Crystal.
was advertising at the time, Pepsi Crystal. Yeah, exactly.
Pepsi Crystal.
Yeah, and look, I still, whether or not I found this movie scary, had no impact on my enjoyment of it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would have enjoyed it any more or less. Look, there were moments, there was imagery that I was kind of like, ooh, that's cool. Like, I reckon, of all things that I think that this movie does, I think, what's her friend's name? Tina in the body bag is some of the best stuff in it.
How good is that?
The bit where...
the legs lift, get dragged by nothing, and the hand just comes down, and it's just the blood trail. Is done.
That exact
perfectly.
image, I reckon, is probably the scariest thing in the movie.
Yeah, and I think that's what Wes does really well. The imagery in this movie is just amazing.
And then the bit where
her
it's
in the bag with all the
eels and shit,
and she centipede comes out of her mouth. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
That stuff. That was on my DVD. That's the home screen of my DVD.
Really?
Her face with a centipede coming out of her mouth.
Jesus.
I was like, Jesus, that's
messed up.
What if you accidentally fell asleep with that on, and you woke up at 3 a.m. and that's what you saw?
Amazing.
Yeah. See, for me, like Freddy himself, and I tried. You are 100% correct. It is just because of the cultural icon he has become that I find it hard to visualize him as a really credible threat. But I also don't think, like, the bit where he just holds up his hand and chops off his fingers and then looks at her like, hey.
Yeah, that's not scary, but
To me,
it's bizarre weird.
It's
and
like,
that's
it
what
is
kind of
weird.
scares me.
And the bit, I actually liked the bit where he cut himself
that?
and the maggots came out.
Yeah,
that one was okay.
Yeah.
I also found it strange that he would, like... So he'd go to all this trouble, right? And he tortures them.
Yep.
And I like that. I like that he toys with them like he's a cat and mouse style for a little while.
Cat mouse. Yeah.
But then when he gets to them, he's having a couple of times, they like wrestle.
Yeah, because he can't.
It's so
you're
strange.
Like, why don't you just kill them? Like, yeah.
He seems to have so much power in their dream world, but then still
I don't think they
has to physically like they do stuntman roles and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just it was a bit strange. I was a bit kind of like, hang on, where you seem to have so much power over the world.
Yeah. Why can't you just string them up which I think they get to later. I literally think they only do commando roles because of they didn't plan it. Well, Robert, what do you do at this point? And he goes, well, I could just grab them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
I think that's literally why.
I don't think I want him to just be able to go like click his non-knife hand and
they get strung up.
And they get strung up and hung and stuff.
Because that's what ends up happening in the sequels.
I think that's too much.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a nice little middle ground where he can control them a little bit more because they're in the dream. As in, like...
Control the environment. Yeah.
Yeah, as in... Well, even like, the running away, they're not running away because they think they can get away. They're running away because he loves it.
Yeah.
Like, he loves the chase.
The hunt, yeah.
But once he does get to them, they should just not be able to move. You know what I mean? And he should just be able to, like, literally like a cat who has... put the paw on the tail of the mouse.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you're mine now.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instead we get,
fair deal.
the full commando roles and like, it's like, what is she? I mean, no, that's when he gets into the real world. But there's one of them like hits him on the head with something. And anyway.
That's later. That's later when he's in the real world.
That was just when he was in the real world?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Tina's death.
Tina's death is the best death.
Is the best death. And I'm going to say the best death of the series.
Okay, sure.
Because one of my favourites, and I think this is why when I was watching on a TV, I think I turned it off after that. I'm like, I'm not allowed to watch this. I was young. I was like 11 or something. I was like, no, I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
you see her, it's the sliding up of the wall. It doesn't move from her sliding up that wall. She slides up. There's a lot of blood streaks. She cries out for her boyfriend and then drops into there's a cut, which if you have the original version, which they didn't let out anymore because there's actually a splash when she hits the bed and then you see her roll off. Every other version that everyone has is cut to the boyfriend and then she rolls off the bed. So no one has the splash. If you have that splash, you have like a Laserdisc version of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's not available anywhere else anymore.
No, they don't have it out there.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Interesting.
I think they may have it on if you buy the doco that we've seen, which is called Never Sleep Again. If anyone is a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street and hasn't seen this thing, please.
Yeah, I think I want to watch it immediately
give it a mad
this
watch.
afternoon.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a cutscene of that.
Yeah,
but
cool. All right, cool.
Yeah. But the reason I think it's the most important and the best of the series is because it shows Kruger's power and it shows how messed up he can be. Because he can kill you in your sleep.
Well,
and people around you are aware, but they can't really do anything. They can wake you up. There are scenes where, like Nancy gets woken up and she's a bit cut and she's pulled the hat out of the dream.
Yeah,
like things like that. But that's why I love that one.
And see, that's an extension of what I was talking before. That's the power that I expect it just to have automatically,
right?
Because I find that stuff really effective.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to know what's happening in the dream while that's happening.
Yeah.
I think that would also be interesting to be aware of. Mm-hmm. But it's a really effective image. And it's by far the best of the deaths.
Yeah.
Because there's only really 3, isn't there?
There's only 3. Yeah. You get Tina is first and then Blaine in the prison and
Blaine?
Is his name Blaine?
Blaine?
What's his name?
Is his name Blaine?
Yeah, I think it's Blaine.
Really?
I've watched
It's
this thing
a fancier name.
times.
I thought it was like some jock name, like bro.
Damn it, I'm going. Rod Lane. Oh, sorry. Rod
close.
Lane.
Rod.
I've put them together.
Rod Lane.
Rod Lane.
Yeah. So actually,
and then there's Glenn, which is Johnny Depp's first film. Introducing Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp's great in it.
He is. He does well. And then he gets sucked into the bed, which is that I love that bit. No, you know what? I don't love that bit. I love the aftermath of the parents and the cops reacting. Like it's you kind of joke about it in comedies like, where's the coroner? Oh, he's throwing up in the bathroom. Like, this is the serious one. That's where they got this from. No, the coroner is throwing up because it's fucked up.
It's I'm of two minds about that one.
Oh, really?
Because yes, I believe in the power of imagination.
Sure.
And anything that we can possibly imagine has happened to that body is probably more effective than them actually showing it.
Yep. But I
kind of wanted to see it.
You sick bastard.
No, because to me, when he gets dragged down into the bed, and then the blood is it's such a great image.
Yeah.
But it's a comically large amount of blood.
Yeah. It's massive.
And to me, that doesn't look like...
You would rather a normal amount.
It feels like that's not. It's not part of a dream, but it feels like it's almost fantasy element.
Okay.
And so I love it. Don't get me wrong. I think as an image, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
But I get at the end of it, and then when they're all talking about it, and
it's the bucket in the lounge room that gets me because there's so much blood that it's literally leaking through the top floor.
So what are our options? What happened to him? Let's talk about it. 'Cause I can't. Maybe it's that I don't have enough of imagination.
Oh, really?
To fathom what could possibly have made that much blood.
I think he went through a meat grinder. Probably saw two.
But then,
stones
what are they looking at that's making him vomit? Just all the blood?
Just all the blood.
Coroners wouldn't. Yeah. Blood doesn't make a coroner vomit.
That amount does.
You reckon?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's a stench as well. So you're not getting.
Do you reckon there's nothing left of him?
I think there's nothing left. I think there's literally just maybe chunks. You get chunks of flesh here and there, maybe a toe.
Okay.
And you're like, oh yeah, there's an ear.
Interesting.
You're like, fuck. And there's that really rad shirt that he was wearing that Nick wanted when he was a kid.
Oh, the cut-off.
I fucking love that.
Show a bit of fucking midriff.
Midriff. If I could, I would want that to this day.
Check out my belly button.
Work the shit out of my abs so I can wear that.
Yeah, you got to have good abs for that shit. I could never wear that. I could never, ever wear that.
Oh, amazing.
All right. Well, okay. So yeah. I will. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going with meat grinder. What do you think happened to him?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I like the imagery. I like it, but I just can't think of what is possibly happening.
Okay.
That's probably my own fault. I need a more vivid imagination.
Fair deal.
Apparently.
Let's talk about the character of Freddy Krueger for a moment.
Yeah.
He's up there with, out of all, because you've got a lot of horror movie icons. A lot of horror movie icons out there. And I'm not just saying this just because we're doing a Nightmare on Elm Street for our feature presentation, but I feel that Freddy Krueger is at the top.
Yeah.
Because of he's got such a great backstory, and you get piece by piece, even though the sequels aren't great, but you get piece by piece of who he was and what happened to him. Like you get that. You mentioned before the mum starts off, he was a child murderer. He was a child molester. That was in the original script, but there was a child molester that was happening in LA at the time. So they're like, let's change it. But it's kind of, it doesn't have to be spoken about. Sort of thing.
No, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, why is one crime? Yeah. Why is molester being so much worse than a child murderer?
Exactly.
But for some reason, it is in our heads. But at the same time, he's still murdering a bunch of kids. So
exactly,
that'll do. That's good enough for a horror movie villain.
So I love how the mum tells the story of no, we found out where he was and we torched him, and so he's okay. Yeah, he's not good. But his outfit, the boiler room, all the stuff in the boiler room, I love. His iconic face, obviously, and he's just such a great creation of a modern boogeyman.
Yeah,
because he talks and things like that.
I mean, it must be a good design. Like, it has to be, because it instantly took over the world.
Yeah.
Like,
and more so than, like, don't get me wrong, I love Friday the 13th and Halloween, but for me, Jason and Michael Myers are more or less one of the same. They don't talk. They're a massive thing.
Yeah, they're just the massive unstoppable force.
Yeah, and they come
that just
after you.
Keeps coming and coming. And
where Freddy has motive, like he's coming after the kids of Springwood because of what happened to him.
Yeah.
And he tortures you before, well, Jason and that torture you as well. But
there's much more of a psychological element to what Freddy's doing, sure.
He gets you in the most vulnerable state. He gets you in your nightmares.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the whole concept of that is really clever because, it is that place that we feel safe, which it does take away this level of... Yeah. And there's also, like, let's say, for instance... you're walking through a dark parking lot at night, right?
Yep.
And, every now and then that's a bit of a kind of like
oh shit, especially if you park too far
yeah,
away.
and and all of a sudden you put on the jets a little bit and you walk a little bit faster and you get to your car.
Yeah.
When you're awake, you have the physical ability to control your surroundings in a way.
Yeah.
And sleep removes that. You are giving away that power.
Exactly.
And so there is something really clever in manipulating that against us and saying, hey, you're most vulnerable here because you do not even have the choice to protect yourself in any shape or form.
Yeah.
And so that's really clever. And I think that goes a long way, I think, to building his mythology, really.
And I think that's why, even though the classic, the bath scene when Nancy's in the bath, I think that's why they almost go to next level with that, because not only are you vulnerable in your dreams, but now she's naked in a bath. Now she's completely vulnerable.
Yeah, 100%.
You're taking it to another level there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, you can find, I suppose people would consider that their most vulnerable position.
Yeah.
They fell asleep without any clothes on.
Exactly.
And then,
In
suddenly.
bath. Yeah.
The bath stuff's really clever.
I like it.
They would have made a deep bath. There's some good production design.
Exactly. It's so good, isn't it? So in their makings, you find out that the guy who made that setup, so Nancy was sitting on his chest for a day of shooting.
Right.
In the water. And that's his hand. That's not Robert Englund. That's his hand.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And the start as well, making the glove. That's not Robert Englund.
No, that was the guy that actually made the glove. I read that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
good. And I love one of the things that also, because this is one of my favorite films, so I've watched a lot of making of and things like that.
Yeah.
Wes Craven's creation of Freddy Krueger came from. Do you remember this story? I love this story.
Something about some Korean.
Oh no, that was the That was the dream sequence that he died. So there was kids in Japan. There was an instance where a kid in Japan didn't want to go to sleep. Told his parents that if I go to sleep, I'll die. They were like, "No, don't be stupid." And they snuck him sleeping pills in his food.
Yep.
He fell asleep and he died. And when they searched his room, they found the coffee pot which they used in the film. So Nancy drinks coffee; it's under her bed, and she's got and things like that. So they found it really odd, and he took that premise for dying in your dreams. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
But the character of Freddy Krueger came from, it was a bully named Fred, for starters.
Right.
That was where the name came from. But when Wes Craven was a kid, I think he was under 10,
right,
his house backed onto an alleyway, and one night he was looking out, and a man walked past.
I have heard this story.
In a hat.
Yes.
Yeah, and a trench coat. So as little kids, you're scared at night. You're watching this man, you're like, oh, scary. And the man stops, turns around, and straight away looks at Wes Craven. And he just holds the stare. Now, Wes, being little, runs under his bed. He's like, oh my God, there's a man out there. Things like that. Gets the courage. About 5 minutes goes by. Goes back to the window to look. And the man is still staring. That is fucking petrifying. Oh my God.
That would be the most terrifying thing.
And hence the creation of Freddy Krueger.
Well, and great.
Yeah.
It's such a great story.
If
that happened in a horror movie, you'd be like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
In real life, that is bone chilling. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love that dude was probably just fucking
He
with
was just
him
fucking
too.
with the kid. I know.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to fucking terrify this kid.
Let's go.
This is going to be
let's do
great.
this, yeah.
And he's probably looking at his clock like, I'll give it another minute. He
Yeah.
might still come back.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, sucked in. I got you for life now,
So
buddy.
good. Oh, I love it.
Oh, dear. I want to talk about how I am the world's biggest Scream fan.
Oh, Oscar, yes, which is a
And,
Wes Craven.
it's quite interesting seeing the similarities
Yeah,
between this and Scream.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems like obvious to say so, but they're really built from the same kind of cloth, cut from the same cloth. The character designs, the character interactions, the way he builds rapport between kids, very similar. Even like the archetypes of the characters, like I find Nancy and Sydney very similar.
Yeah, that's very
I
true.
find Johnny Depp and Billy Loomis,
Yep.
aside from the fact that
he was the killer.
spoilers,
Yeah.
he becomes the killer.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Rod and Matt Lillard, Rose McGowan and
Tina.
Tina.
Yeah.
Like he really nurtures them in a similar way. And it's funny, like, I think we always knew that Scream was kind of like a response to the slasher genre and kind of taking it back a little bit and reflecting on it as a whole.
Yep.
I don't think I realised just how much it was influenced by what Wes did during this to build those characters and stuff. Because it was especially that first scene when they're walking down the street together
To go to school.
even like sure
you could take that out and put it in Scream and it'd be the same.
and it even looks the same. Like the way it's shot, it looks really similar. The color palette, the lighting of the street, everything just looks really similar. And I was like, oh man, I'm getting real Scream vibes. The design of the school, I thought was really similar.
That school is scary as fuck. That is a scary school.
It's just something about those hallways, man. Something about those hallways.
You work at a school, Tyson. Is there a bit of because a school at night is a completely different place? Do you avoid it like the plague?
I have had some instances where I have had to walk through the music department of my school at night with the lights off.
Yep. And someone accidentally drops a cymbal, and you're like, "Fucking Jesus!"
Oh, it's terrifying.
That's amazing.
So I do not enjoy it at all.
That's good. I like that. I like that. If someone finds out where Tice works, can you please play 1, 2, Freddy's Coming For You at night time next time he's there?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love that it's consistent. What you said about Nancy and Sydney, I totally agree. Especially because Nancy I like her, and why her character is different for me is because Nancy seeks out Kruger to kill him. It's not like she's just reactive.
Oh, she's got wonderful agency.
Exactly.
And, like, it makes her a really great character.
She's not seeking an old man or someone of the past where, like, she gets that from her mum, but she's not seeking it out. That just happens to her. She's like, no, I'm going to go and find out the history of Freddy Krueger, and in that will be something that will help me.
It's great that we don't get the library research scene, because that's the easy way to show a plucky final girl, doing her thing. Like, she uses her brain. She's very clever. Yeah. And this is the thing. She does things. It's one of the few occasions where you can watch a horror movie and you're not yelling at a character to stop being so stupid.
Exactly.
She actually surprises me with stuff, because I wouldn't have thought to burn my arm to wake myself up on the pipe.
Yep.
And she does that, and I'm like, fucking hey, Nancy, that's some good shit. Yeah. Well done.
Exactly.
That was awesome. Yeah. Like, You get so used to watching horror movies where you're just like, you're such an idiot.
Run.
No wonder you died. No fucking wonder.
Run. Or maybe not in Don't Breathe. She was smart. Was she smart?
She was savvy. She was plucky. I use the word plucky.
Okay.
No, I like
plucky.
Her. She was good.
Not to be
Who was
confused
the actress in that? I've forgotten.
I forget. Let's look it up.
She was good.
I love the booby traps, Tyson.
Yeah.
The booby traps.
Who doesn't love a booby trap?
Come on. She set that whole house up.
It's like... I do. Like, she did some nice work.
That wouldn't take you... to time it right, she did that in 20 minutes. Something like that doesn't take you 20 minutes. That takes you at least 2 hours, what you just did.
Yeah. I like that... Look, I like the whole idea of the showdown. I like the idea that she says, all right, cool. We're going to do it because I'm tired.
I'm sick of this shit. All my friends are dead.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's dead.
Yeah. We got to get this done. So I'm going to rig up a few little things and hope for the best.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm pretty sure that the sledgehammer from the door was not going to do much good for anybody. I reckon I could have dodged that.
Really? No way. Not if you're not expecting it. I love a sledgehammer. I love it. I think it's gold. Look, I just think the light bulb full of shotgun powder, that's not going to do anything. No. It's just going to let off a big bang.
Yeah, that was disappointing because
but it was gold.
It was nice, good thinking.
Exactly.
But also she hasn't slept in 9 days or whatever.
Exactly.
So she's a bit all over the shop.
She is. Jane Levy is the actress in Don't Breathe.
Thank you. Yes, from Evil Dead remake.
From Evil Dead remake, yeah.
Yeah. So I like the finale.
Yes.
I think I like the way we build up to it. I like that it has an element of kind of a showdown kind of perspective to it. Mm-hmm. I do want to ask.
Oh yeah.
Well, do we want to get there already? Should we?
I've still got tons.
Yeah, I got tons. So maybe we'll save. Let's save the finale till the end. All right.
You're talking about the finale. We can skip back. It's fine.
No, because it's a good way to end it.
Oh, fair deal.
I've got something.
Yeah, go.
All right. This is what I want to talk about.
Sure.
I am confused.
Yes.
By the powers of Freddy.
Right.
So it's not a big deal because it's a horror movie, and so it's all relative. But
You have a question?
I have a question. I did not believe he had the ability to manipulate the real world.
No, he doesn't.
What's going on with the sheet that hangs Rod? Who
Good point.
is controlling that?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't understand that scene.
Well, how I would think of it is he's not strangling him with a sheet. He's actually in a dream, and the thing that's in real life is the sheet, but in the dream it's something else. Maybe.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm having to piece together.
Yeah.
I
love that you think of these things.
Yeah, well, because it was the only time I noticed it. I was
You're like, hey, what the hell?
Up until that point, I felt really clear about his powers.
Yeah, yeah.
In the sense that
I just didn't like that.
He can manipulate a body.
Really? Yeah.
He can manipulate a body because it's reacting to the dream world, but he couldn't
manipulate what's going on.
The actual real world.
Yeah.
Like, it's like when the phone licks her mouth, right? That's not actually happening. She's so close to like catatonic tiredness.
Yes, that's true.
That she's kind of juggling
Just
between
reacting.
sleep and non-sleep. So she thinks she sees that he's able to manipulate that, but it's not. You
look at it.
You
It's
wouldn't
just
pick
a
up the
phone.
phone a second later and just it'd be his mouth kind of, and he's like, "Oh, hey."
This is God. This is odd now.
It's kind of weird now.
This is kind of weird now.
I'm not quite sure how to get out of here.
I'm stuck in the phone.
I'm stuck
Can you
in the
just
phone
hang me
forever
up?
now.
Hang me up and I'll go away. That's hilarious.
Well, I'm a phone now. Here we are. So when it got to the, I was like, hang on, ghost powers? What's going on?
Well, maybe he does have powers to manipulate the real world. Let me think.
Because the only other thing that could potentially support that theory is that
Well, he does have
Johnny
a lot of
Depp gets
power.
dragged through a bed.
Yep. Is that it? That's it.
Yes, like, so, but I
What
guess,
Yeah. But it could be anything.
it could be anything.
In the dream world, it could be being dragged
So,
through a
for
massive
instance,
meat mixer.
so yeah, that's the thing. So what we need to assume is that whatever situation he sets up in the dream world,
Yeah.
your immediate physical surroundings can adapt to that as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that what we have to assume?
Maybe.
I like rules.
You do like rules, don't you?
I
I think all the rules are out the window, though.
Sure.
In a Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. If you tell me, the thing is that if I don't want someone to tell me that how it's really well defined
It does-
and
yeah, fair
his
deal.
powers are really clear, because I
They're
know in
not.
later movies it gets really
It
wild.
gets really wild.
So I don't want people telling me, oh no, but it's really well defined in the first one, because I don't think that's true.
No, that's not true. And there are rules. And like there's only the only way to kill him is to bring him out into the real world, which also fucks with the theory of the why does he have control over the bed sheet? Because that is in the real world. So what's going on?
Yeah, look, the ability if like that whole idea of if you wake up while you're holding him and he becomes part of the real world, that's pretty well defined to me. I like that, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
In air quotes.
Yeah. Watch how they kill him in number 4. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Sure. I get that kind of feeling that there gets to be a point where you've kind of got to just like you'd run out of ways to kill him because it's kind
But
of
that's another reason why
because
I
he's
love
not
it.
actually ever dead.
He's not going to die. No,
No.
exactly. You can't kill him.
I
love it.
I like the idea of how he dies in this. I think it's a good concept, not fully realized. It's one of the things that I actually, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. It's one of the things that I think Freddy versus Jason
Yes.
explored a little bit more and maybe a little bit better. What a ridiculous statement.
Are you
But-
talking about pulling him into the real world? or
No,
you're talking about
the
him-
idea of his fear being his power.
Okay.
Look, it's been a long time since I've seen Freddy vs. Jason. It may not hold up in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I remember that part of it. The whole idea that all
Jason was
mentions of
spreading-
Freddy
was
have been
spreading the fear.
removed
Yep.
from textbooks. People don't know anything about
History
it, and so
books,
he
everything.
has no
Yep.
power. And then
Yep.
gradually, as people learn his name again, he regains his strength.
Yes, that's true.
Whereas, and so it's something that we explored over the course of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it was like a passing comment that Johnny Depp made that she remembers at one point and just goes,
I'm going to give it a shot
Well,
because,
I'll
to
give
be
it a
honest,
shot.
he's behind me.
Because
and I'm
technically she hasn't... It wasn't just the turning around that should be it.
No.
It's the actual taking away of his power. The ability for her to say, I'm actually not scared of you. Everything up until that last moment. Like, yeah, she's fighting back. She's still scared of him.
still scared of him.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where she's like, you know what? I'm not scared of you anymore. I've done all of these things to you. Why am I running from you?
Maybe. The fact, but the second before that, she was terrified for her life.
Yes.
Like, I like the
There's
idea...
no realization.
I like the idea of her
on
giving
her
it a go
face.
and going, all right, maybe if I turn around and maybe if I find the inner strength to not be... But I wish it just had been explored a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I think that's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how. Like, I'm not saying there's a better way to do
I
it.
like that how
but
they did it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Especially how you said, like, it was just spoken about. She didn't really think about it later on. She didn't really explore it. You would have liked her to explore it a bit more? Or I just think it didn't need it because she did all these things. She was doing all these booby traps.
It might just happen a little suddenly,
thing.
maybe. I think maybe that's what it is. I think it just it happens really quick, and then he lunges and disappears, and it's like, I think I would have just liked that to maybe be stretched out a little bit so we can just kind of feel the weight of that a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's something else where there's another movie where it's kind of like it's the end of Labyrinth.
You have no power over me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does it better, I think.
Oh, really?
Do you know,
Really?
I think because that allows it, that gives it the time for her to have the realization, to then let it kind of sink in, to then have that affect her other decisions and her collectively make a choice. To me, it feels like Nancy's just giving it a crack.
Yeah.
Because it's like, fuck, I've got nothing left. What was that random thing my dead boyfriend said about turning around?
Yeah,
let's give it a crack. And
that's true. It is very fast. I do like how the mum dying and sinking into the bed, how he's on fire and lands on her. They pull over the sheet, pull back the sheet, and the bed's just clear with a little bit of smoke there.
Yeah, so what happened?
That was just fucking weird. I don't know what's going on. Because he was in the real world and he was on fire.
So he still has powers.
He still has powers
in the real when he's been dragged into the real world.
So yeah, so it's very, very grey. You don't know what's going on. But the fact that her and her dad come into the room, see what happens, mum dies. She asks dad to leave because she can still sense him. That's what I like. I like, no, you're still there, and I think that's maybe a little bit of the realization.
Oh, maybe that's the moment she decides, no.
Going, no, I still feel you, and guess what? I'm not scared of you.
Yeah, okay.
So how
Fair
about
enough.
I'm going to turn around now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
like that she turns around, and I like that she turns back and goes, no, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking cold.
It is good.
Yeah.
I wish the movie had ended...
Not
long after
this
that.
Was So there's three. They shot three endings, and it was a conflict between the infamous Robert Shea, who is, we all know his wife, Lynn Shea, in all of those movies. Is it Lynn Shea? Yeah.
I didn't put two and two together that they were married.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, great. She's in this as well.
Yeah, because he produced all of the Nightmares. He owns New Line Cinema.
Yes.
So yeah, him and Wes kind of butted heads. He wanted to have a little bit more of a say on the film. The stairs that stick, that was him. That was his idea.
Oh, yeah.
Wes didn't really like it, but you got to please the guy that's giving you money.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
It's typical Dream stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of the more kind of obvious.
Yeah. Same with when you go through a door. And then you go to turn around in that door,
and the door's gone.
Yeah, same thing. So Robert Shea was kind of having a bit of a say about the ending of what's going on. Mm-hmm. He wanted the car and the friends to be alive, and the car to be Freddy and things like that. Whereas Craven just wanted her to walk down the street, go back to school, and just see the girls skipping. That was it.
Right.
They came to an agreement.
Look.
I think it's fine. I think
it is fine.
It's fine.
It's actually, the problem with it is not so much its conception. I think it's probably just the worst constructed scene in the film.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just sloppy, and you can tell it's somebody.
It's a quick. Let's go.
Yeah, and so it just doesn't feel worth.
And I don't like that the friends are back. I don't like that. I've never liked that.
Well, it's a dream. It's a dream. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to assume that she's gone to bed that night
and having a nice and sleeping for the
and
first time
sleeping for the
having
first
a nice
time,
dream.
and
Yeah.
but that's the dream that ends up taking over.
Yeah.
That Freddy is still able to
Control.
still able
He
to
still
control
has
it.
powers,
Because
yeah.
I don't assume that because it feels like a dream from the second the scene
It's
starts.
so foggy.
It's there's fogginess to it. It's got like that Days of Our Lives wash on the lens. The mum is being too nice.
Yeah, and she's dressed in white.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's what I assume. I've got no problems with it in its conception. And you know what? Like,
What about the mum being pulled through the hole?
I mean, it's a garbage special effect, but who cares? Like,
I love it.
There's
I
some
think
garbage
it's
special
cute.
effects in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
a quaintness to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like,
Do you know what the garbage special effect that I love that works for me for some reason?
oh, when she tears his face off? Is that what you're about to
No,
say?
I hate that one. I
Yeah.
don't like that one. I like the one where she's running up the stairs and what we talked about before, and he puts on, which is so
Oh,
badly
yes,
put
yeah,
on
yeah.
Tina's face. and
Tina's
he goes,
face for a second.
help me, please. Save me from Freddy.
Yeah.
And he pulls it off. I actually really like. I think it works.
Yeah, no, that's good.
it
I
looks
like that
messed
one.
up.
I liked it. Yeah, I thought that for a second. I was like, well, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge studio heads for knowing that they're onto something good. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? If
Because it was meant to be a one-off.
What,
It wasn't
Robert
meant to
Shea-
spin. Yeah.
O'Shea, I've forgotten his name. Robert O'Shea or just
No, it's
Shea?
just Shea.
Robert Shea.
Yeah, because they call him Bob Shea.
Yeah. If he sees the dailies and sees like a rough cut and goes, well, we're onto something good here. I don't begrudge a studio site for saying, hey, can we just leave it open? Like, you can still tell a good story. Can we just leave it open a little bit?
Yeah, sure, but come to the creator with, how would you leave this
Yeah,
open?
exactly. Yeah.
Don't come to him with, I've got this rad idea for your fucking movie.
Exactly.
No. Bad way
Exactly.
to come at it.
So while I don't hate the idea of finding a way to maintain Freddy and perhaps leave the door open for a sequel, I don't think this is the most effective way to do it.
No.
I mean, it's fine.
I would have liked just the Skipping Girls, but that's just me.
It feels like
the
The Skipping Girls. Oh man, like haunting.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate Skipping Girls.
Oh my god. I just want to quickly talk about and one thing I love about this movie is the parents. I know we're going way back, but
That's right.
the parents are messed up in this. Only because I think they're all individually dealing with what they've done.
Well, yeah, I
Do you know what I mean?
think that's a big part of the movie is that we get this movie that like I'm sure it's happened before. I know that this has been a plot point in something else, and I can't think of it right now. That the kids are paying for
what the parents have done. Yeah.
Um,
and I love that. Like the Tina's mum is just. She's like, Tina has that first dream, like at the very, very start of the film, and she comes in and her pajamas are slashed, and the mum just comes in and goes, "Oh, you'll be right. I'll see you later. I'm going to get on with this man."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Well, that's it.
Help your daughter.
We don't have great role models through
exactly.
this film, and the film, like, these kids are trying to tell these parents what's happening, and they're generally ignoring them.
Yeah.
It's only the mum who kind of
Nancy's mum.
Yeah, but she, she decides that the best way to deal with it is just to hit the booze.
Yeah.
Her performance is bonkers.
I love it.
I actually really loved it because it's
You
not.
believe it,
It's
100%.
not good though. Like it is not a good performance by any stretch, but it is so off kilter and so off-putting
Just
and
weird.
strange that I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I get very unsettled watching her
Yes,
performance.
you do, don't you?
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that she looks weird as well.
She's got the crazy eyes, my man.
She does. When she comes home, or when Nancy goes to sneak out at the very, very end, when Glenn has just died, and she's sitting on the couch and she's pissed, and she goes, locked.
Yeah.
I have to lock it all up. That bit actually scares me. I'm like, you are quite scared.
Yeah, she's lost her mind.
Yeah.
It's the conversation she has. She comes and visits her in bed at one point, and she has a conversation.
She puts her to bed. She goes, "Okay, Mum, I have to deal with Freddie. You have to stay here."
No.
Not that one.
When the mum puts Nancy to bed at one point, she has a conversation, and she has her line delivery and her eyeballs are doing these really strange things, and I was like, I don't care if this is just accidental bad acting. It is so effective in that moment because it is just so not an actual human reaction.
Yeah.
And it adds to, that whole mentality that we don't know at any point if we're dreaming or not, because all her dialogue is delivered like someone in a dream would deliver it.
Yeah.
It's got that weird cadence to it.
That pausing.
Yeah.
It's just, you're like, what?
And it's probably just because she's drunk, but
You're
it
just drunk through
creates
the whole thing. Yeah.
It creates an atmosphere with her performance.
I love when she comes home from, I forget where Nancy's been. She comes home and she goes, "Mother," and Mum just, you see her in the hall, and she just comes out and she's holding a cigarette, and she goes, "Come with me down to the basement."
Yeah.
And she just walks down, and I'm like, "You pass. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You are scary." What the fuck
That's
is going
basically,
on?
if anyone ever hears that sentence,
Yeah,
the correct answer
don't.
is no.
No.
No. No, I will not be doing that.
Let's have a talk outside on the front lawn.
Yes, in
where
front
people-
of
where people
many
can see me.
witnesses.
Yeah, yeah. I'm done.
The only
What else you got?
Well, I don't want to start with bad stuff. I don't want to do any bad stuff because
no.
there's just little bits and pieces here and there that I want horror movies not to do anymore.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, it is
1984.
84,
and
baby.
There's still habits that I think we
Things
need to
happen.
learn from.
Okay, such as?
I don't like the idea of a character watching a horror movie while they know that they are in a horror movie. That is not a human reaction in any way, shape, or form. I know that
But that was a little wink
I know
between
it's a,
directors.
Yeah, I know it's a wink
yeah.
between directors, but
Yeah, yeah.
it
affects the...
you're affecting you're making a character make a choice.
Exactly.
She cannot sleep because a demon man
Is after her.
will kill her
So
in her
don't
sleep.
have her watch Evil
So
Dead.
let's watch Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Because that's not what horror movies are for. Horror movies are there for us to escape. Like, we get out some aggression and stuff.
Don't do that.
Don't put yourself through that.
Especially because what she would be watching, if this movie is studied, is going to reflect on what's going on as well. So what kind of a sadistic person is Nancy if she's watching Evil Dead while this is happening to her? Chick's messed up.
Yeah. I just realised when I was saying that I might disagree with my own statement. I might be okay with it.
Why? Why are you okay with it now?
I don't know. Maybe it is like a... Maybe in that circumstance you'd just say...
Like if you are that sleep deprived,
like if
what am I going to watch that's going to keep me awake? A horror movie.
So in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
If we had set up
Sure.
some good parameters,
Yeah.
and we knew that right now we were safe for the time being, obviously we would have a baseball bat.
You'd watch
here.
a movie and get hints and tips.
Would we watch Night of the Living Dead? Just to kind of, because it's like, well,
They did that. Let's do this.
This is what's happening.
This is what we're living. We're living at large.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Fair deal. Fair deal.
Maybe. I like the little throwaway comment when it's like, "How long haven't you slept for?" And it's like, "Oh, she hasn't slept for 7 days
7
or whatever."
days,
And it's
and
like, "It's okay. I checked. The record's 11 or
Yeah.
something." And it's
I
like,
love that.
I don't care that the record's 11. You should be dead. Like,
Yeah.
you
Physically,
look
you should-
pretty great
Yeah.
for not having slept for 7 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee does not do it. Like,
No, you need hard drugs.
hard drugs.
Yeah.
She needs.
The dose, whatever she's taking, that must be 100% pure speed.
Yeah. Oh, it must be.
Yeah, because
Well,
what
it was
the
the
fuck?
80s. So
Exactly,
they
it was the
they didn't
80s.
care back then.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a bit more of that stuff, like of how the sleep deprivation affected her.
No, because movies have done that and they've done it bad, and I've never seen it done well.
No, well, this is the movie that would have the opportunity to explore that, because she's holding very pleasant conversations with her boyfriend.
she wouldn't be. She wouldn't
After
be
7 days
vocal.
with no sleep, she'd be
It'd be
all
slow.
over the shop.
Yeah, totally. And she'd be doing that. You know that thing how people flinch like
Yeah, like stuff
that.
like
Like,
yeah.
what? Did you see that move? They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Are you okay?
And getting really irritated and
Yes.
then apologizing and then crying and just being like, I'm just so tired.
I'm just so
and
fucking
like,
tired.
Like all that kind of
That's
stuff.
so
Like
true.
she just seemed very like she was doing okay.
She was doing well.
I was like, good on you know.
That conversation, by the way, there are two things that I wanted to mention before we. But I still want to hear more questions though, if you have them. Where she has that conversation with her boyfriend, with Glenn, on that bridge.
Oh yeah.
I've stood there.
Oh nice.
I went to LA. I found out where it was. They shot it there. I stood there.
Very cool.
And this was on my, hilariously enough, I dragged my wife. This was on my honeymoon.
Nice.
We went to LA, and where we were Airbnb-ing
Yeah.
was about 3 blocks from where the Nightmare on Elm Street iconic house
Oh cool.
is. And I have had a photo in front of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Those trees that Glenn hides behind. He's like,
yeah.
Glenn, are you still watching? They're still there.
Oh no way.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
I said, babe, do me a favor, stand there with your camera and just yell out, Nick, are you still watching? Just do that for me. She's like, what are we doing? I'm like, just stand there. So I did it, and I covered my screen. I'm like, yeah, so? And then I went back in. She's like, I don't know what's going on.
That's
I'm like,
pretty great.
Babe, shut up.
I love it.
I love you.
I do like that bit. That's a good dream.
It's a good dream.
That was a good dream.
It is. I love the subtlety that we haven't spoken about is the feather that went out the window.
Yep.
I'm like, ooh, I always forget about the feather when I rewatch it. And there was one other one. Is it the roses? It's not the roses. It's something else that you're like, oh, the dream is coming into reality, or maybe they're merging, or you don't really know what's going on. Yeah.
No, actually, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
I wanted to ask you about.
Give me some questions.
I just wanted to see, what do you, as far as the rest of the franchise goes.
Oh yeah, where do you rate them?
Well, do you have any favourites? Do you have anything that you think is kind of underrated, overrated?
3 is definitely it. There's a reason that it's a fan favourite, because it's the writer who did 3 built on the story.
Yeah. So Wes Craven came back to work on it,
and he's built on the mythology and the lore of A Nightmare on Elm Street. So it was so good. In saying that, I have a little bit of a love for 6. The Final Nightmare, which is Freddy's Dead.
Oh, Freddy's Dead,
yeah, Freddy's
really?
Dead, the Final Nightmare.
All right.
Only because I was really into A Nightmare on Elm Street when that came out at the time, and I wasn't old enough to see it at the cinema because it was in 3D, Tyson, with the
old school blue and red
cellophane glasses, which came in my box set.
Yes. I didn't get them in my box set.
Yeah, fair deal. But yeah, I feel the start of 6 can be quite scary.
Okay.
It is M-rated. It's a soft M. It's very shit. I think that once the Nightmare on Elm Street series leaves its hard R behind, which is after 3, I feel that it's a little too PG for me. Okay. It's a little too nice
fair enough.
For a horror movie franchise. In saying that, though, when we do number 2, Freddy's Revenge, that is hilarious.
I'm looking forward to... I mean, I would like to say I would watch a few more of these this October, but I'm concerned about having to watch quite a few films in a franchise that we are stupidly indulging ourselves in. Yeah,
which is gone, by the way.
So time is of the essence. But I'm looking forward to kind of, now that I've gotten this one out of the way with, because I did have a certain amount of trepidation about entering into this franchise because I'm still, a little bit of a sissy when it comes to horror movies. Like good old scaredy cat.
But you got the worst one out of the way.
Well, that's apparently it. And so now I really do want to experience the rest of them again and really kind of get into this whole iconography of it all. Like that's what I'm excited about. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I've heard so many stories about particular elements to each of the films that I'm really excited. And obviously having watched Never Sleep Again, getting to experience all that, I'm really excited about. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think I'm going to put the trailer up on the Facebook for Never Sleep Again.
Yeah, do that.
Everyone should watch that. You should definitely watch it if you're I'm
pretty sure it's not available.
Stream it? No,
yeah, let me have a little squeeze, because if anyone has a brain, being October, they might have it on special, or have put it. This is like see why someone like
Jesus Christ.
No, it has no streaming offers whatsoever.
What the hell? That's just bad.
That is bad. That's what people. Well, there must be rights involved.
Fair deal.
But yeah, that's A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Elm Street,
I gave it a good solid 6 to 7 out of 10.
Oh, nice.
This viewing.
Yeah, fair deal.
And
it still rates at an 8 for me. But
I anticipate it's going to go up with further viewings. Ooh. I actually like it already a little bit more after talking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good first watch. It's funny.
It's a quick watch too.
Of all the horror movies that we've watched as a first viewing for me, because obviously I haven't seen a lot.
Oh, yep.
The one that is still my favourite of all the first watches that we've had is The Fog.
Oh, really?
Funnily enough.
That was good.
I loved The Fog.
Really? That much?
And I'm high on The Fog still.
You're going to go see it at IMAX when it comes to IMAX?
I would absolutely see. I think it's a 4K restoration.
Yeah, 4K restoration.
If that pops up at Astor or Sun Theatre, I'll be all over that. I would absolutely love to see it in the theatre.
Fog at IMAX?
Yeah. I don't know what it was about it, but I'm all about it. Okay. So, like we've knocked off a few of these iconic franchises now. I've done the first Hellraiser, I've done the first Friday the 13th, now the first Nightmare.
Yep.
The Fog, funnily enough, is still the movie that of those ones that we've gone to for first-time viewings.
Is there a Fog 2?
No.
Really?
Foggier. Fog 2.
Fog 2, the Foggest.
The Fog.
The foggest.
The most fog.
Let's keep going. Oh my god.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, Tice.
What did you watch this week?
Dun-dun-dun-dun. I watched nothing.
Oh.
I wanted to do that for a while.
I was so excited.
It was in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you watch, Tice?
Well, okay. So October viewing started. I actually have. It qualifies. It's not specifically a horror movie.
Yeah, fair deal.
But I watched the documentary called Haunters: Art of the Scare, which is showing on Amazon at the moment.
Yeah.
And this is a documentary about live haunts, which is something we don't have a lot of here, but it's kind of in Australia. I mean, it's the idea of these interactive experiences where it takes the idea of a haunted house and turns it up to 11, basically.
Right. Is this sort of like a theme? Like you would go to you would pay money and go to this? Is that
yes.
like that?
Yeah. So I think we had. Because I remember hearing something about we had in Fed Square, I think for a little while, Blackout. Did you hear about Blackout?
I did hear about that, yeah.
So that's considered like an extreme haunt, which is what these things are dealing with.
We've had a zombie one.
Well, they seem to be more kind of game orientated.
Yeah.
Because having watched this now and knowing a little bit about what happens in Blackout,
right.
I have no interest in doing any of these kind of things
You have
all.
no interest, or are you have no interest because it would scare the fucking shit out of you?
No, look, yes, it would. Yeah. So what this documentary, what it's kind of covering, it goes from the idea of these, basically the certain people that are doing it almost like gleefully because they have like a love of like old school like haunted houses and stuff.
Sure.
And so they're still kind of extreme, but they're based around the idea that you walk through a haunted house setup, and the attractions themselves are much more interactive than what you'd be used to. So you allow the actors to get right up into your face. There is the ability to perhaps be not physically hurt, but there to be a physical element to it.
Yep.
And you put yourself in a scenario where you really test your limits of your fear.
Sure.
There's safe words. There's all that kind of stuff. Like there's
Seriously?
not
Safe words.
Yeah. So you don't. The Blackout guys, for instance, their whole concept is basically like there's bits where they put Hessian bags over your head and hold fake guns to your face, screaming at you and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a pass for me.
Yeah, and so.
The haunted house one, yes. The Blackout, no.
Sure, but there's safe words, and then they explore this one called is it McKinney's Manor, I think. McKamey's Manor.
Yeah,
and this is a guy who has taken it to the utmost extreme.
Right.
So you're signing waivers, you're doing all this all this kind of stuff. There's no safe word. And essentially it can last for anywhere between 4 to 7 hours.
Pass.
You have to wear
Kevlar.
some kind of like a onesie because
you may shit yourself.
Yeah, it's like because of all the shit that might end up on yourself.
What?
And so he films these for YouTube. You can watch the entire
Really?
sequence on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not cool what he's doing to people.
Is it? No, but hang on a minute. Is it? This sounds like a test of what someone can deal with. This doesn't sound to me like an old school ghost train or a haunted house.
So what?
Turned up to 11. This sounds
the way
like
he's
you're torturing people and you're getting them to sign a waiver and getting away with it.
It's basically like a live version of House of a Thousand Corpses, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So, but he's legitimately doing these things to these people.
Yeah.
They, he is, torturing them, legitimately torturing them.
Yeah.
They're filming it, laughing about it in their faces and stuff. They are begging him to stop, but he never does.
You sign the waiver.
Because you've signed the thing to say that you want to do it. There's interviews with people who have done it, who have said, who are like, I wish I had never done it. I'm watching that now and I'm furious and I am a changed person because I went through this.
Yeah, you're going to need therapy.
Yeah. And then other people go through it and then go, I want to be part of it. I want to do that to other people. Yeah. You need to see this footage.
You people need to.
Because I can't do it justice.
Wow.
It is degrading. It is like completely like strips away any humanity.
Yeah.
It is awful what he's
parts.
doing to these people.
Yeah.
Yet he doesn't seem. It's a really interesting character study because him as a person.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he's not all there. Like you can tell he's not 100% all there.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like a legitimately evil person.
Okay. Are we talking about a light waterboarding, or what are we talking about?
I wouldn't say light.
Right. Okay.
Like,
but you were talking about waterboarding.
Yeah. People like you just need to. I think
have a watch.
You need to watch some of the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's hard for me to describe.
Look,
it.
I'm in for watching this thing. I want to watch it.
But you know, and he's such a contradiction of character because payment for this. Is
in blood.
No, you just need to donate cans of dog food for his greyhound rescue shelter.
Oh my God.
That's all you have to pay. He does it all. He puts up all the money himself to build the actual thing.
This guy's weird.
It's a really strange character study, and it's also really funny to see the other people because there's quite a community around these extreme haunts who don't really dig what he's doing.
Yeah, fair deal.
Because it doesn't come from as a creative place as some of the other ones. Like some of the other guys, one of the other guys is like, you can see he's he used to work in special effects and he cares about the process and the creation of it.
Like run like an old school ghost train and shit.
Yeah.
Really have the old school scares. That'd be great.
It was an interesting documentary. I don't know if it 100% sells what it's trying to sell.
Sure.
I think it presents an interesting perspective on these people because it does take a certain kind of person to build their whole life around scaring the shit out of other people.
Yeah.
But it does present two views in the sense that people seem to do it from a creative point of view, that it's almost like an old school. Like it's the same reason why people made Universal horror movies and Hammer horror films. It's the want to scare for entertainment purposes, and then there's the other side where do we draw the line? Where does it become legitimate torture and exploiting of people who don't really know what they're getting into? But having said that, the videos are all over YouTube. You can see everything you want. It's like it becomes an exploration of what kind of person would put themselves through that, knowing what they are going to be getting.
How boring is your life for you to go?
How much do you need to feel those emotions? Like, why do we feel the need for that? Anyway, it is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if the filmmakers themselves know what side they're coming down on, and that's probably not the worst thing in the world.
That's okay.
They could be accused of perhaps holding some things close to their chest until late in the film, which could be seen as manipulative movie making, documentary making.
Yeah, fair deal.
But I could be argued either way in that.
Okay.
But it was something that is worth talking about.
Fair
I think
deal.
worth watching though if you are interested.
Watch,
so it's
you've interested. Yeah, I need to watch it now.
Really, if for nothing else, there's some really interesting characters that do show themselves during that. So yeah, that's Haunters: Art of the Scare. That was on Amazon Prime. It's showing on Netflix everywhere else. For some reason, though, we don't have it on Netflix, which sucks.
Oh, for fuck!
Yeah, for
fuck's sake! Australian Netflix, get your ass into gear, June.
Have you put your?
Oh God, I have.
All right, well let's do some crossing the streams.
So made sure I did a good one because my son is not here.
Nice.
He's at grandma's.
All right, horror movies exclusively.
If you now. I'm going to pick one. I don't think I've asked people to have a stream of this, but I'm going to do it for a second time because, to be honest, it is that good. I need to grab the year. I think it's 2015, but let me have a look.
2015, you say?
I think.
Let's
2015.
see.
No, 2014's Tusk.
Oh, Tusk.
Tusk is a horror movie with a slight comedic thing to it, but then how one of the things that because I watch a lot of horror movies and I don't get scared by them anymore, but what does scare me is the abnormal. The if you look at something long enough, it becomes scary. Does that make sense? So that's what Tusk sort of does for me, sort of that element. What Tusk is, it's really funny. It's by director Kevin Smith, which is Silent Bob of the Jay and Silent Bob duo. So you're thinking, oh yeah, Jersey Girl was pretty shit, but then again, my man Ty swears by chasing Amy.
What? That's not true.
that's true. You love Chasing Amy.
Didn't we talk about the fact that sometimes it doesn't work as well as it used to work?
Oh, really? Is that where you landed on it?
Maybe.
Moving
I
on.
can't remember.
He loves mall rights. So the premise of this movie is that a podcaster, hilariously enough, Tice, goes to seek out a story that he's heard about, and he stays with this guy who has a story he wants to know, and this guy drugs him and changes him, Tyson, because he's a mad scientist cackling at the lightning, which is hilariously enough.
He actually cackles at lightning.
I think there's a scene, yeah.
That you've sold me now.
I've sold you already?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair deal. Where he turns him into a walrus. And I'm shitting you not. It is just very subtly petrifying. Like you're watching it and you're kind of, it's funny. It's of that where you
subtly petrifying. It sounds legitimately petrifying.
It's where you're laughing at because of what's happening because there's jokes in there as well, and you're like ha 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 ha. But really, I'm quite fucking scared, and this is very, very fucking scary. The cackling mad scientist is Michael Parks, who he's scary enough as it is, and the guy who gets turned into a walrus is Justin Long. You've even got...
I love Justin Long.
Yeah. So Justin Long is the podcaster with his friend Haley Joel Osment. And it's great. I love this movie. I've watched it several times. My brother, who is a massive horror movie fan, I bought it for him, and it's still in the fucking plastic. Daniel, if you haven't watched it yet, this is me telling you on my podcast to watch Tusk, you bastard. It is so good. It's still in its plastic. I bought it for him 2 years ago. You have to hire this, though, Tyson. So it is Google Play, it is YouTube, or it's iTunes. Those are the main three.
That's all right, though.
I love it. I love this movie. I watched it because it was the poster that does it so well, and the trailer really sold it to me. You've even got there's a cameo by Johnny Depp in there. It's so good. It really is. Tusk.
All right, nice one.
Have you got one, Tusk?
Yeah, I do have one.
Tusk?
I think that's cool. We've got it covered. Yeah. I'm going to go one that's on SBS On Demand.
Oh, yeah?
It's a movie I think we've talked about once before. I'm not sure if I've given it a recommendation.
But we've talked about it before.
But I think we've talked about it when I did happen to see it. And that's the movie I Am Not a Serial Killer.
Oh, yeah.
It's a kind of a indie drama, like horror drama from 2017, I believe. Maybe 2016. 2016. And it is about a 16-year-old boy who has pretty clear what's the one that all serial killers have? The psychotic
split personality?
No, it's the disorder associate.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it is.
It's the one where you can't feel
dissociation.
Yeah, dissociation. So you have no empathy for anything, and you're just like
you don't have that part of your brain. So
exactly.
You don't mind killing people.
And so he is quite certain that he's going to become a serial killer,
right?
But what ends up happening is that a series of murders take place in the town that he's living that he is not committing, and he kind of takes upon himself to find out what's causing these murders. And so you get this very interesting character study of a kid who doesn't quite understand why he doesn't feel normal human emotions, while also trying to track down someone that perhaps is doing what he thinks he should be doing. And we get this very strange kind of character dynamic. It co-stars Christopher Lloyd.
Oh,
now
has he still got it?
Did
he ever have it?
He still has it.
He still got it.
It's a really wonderful Christopher Lloyd performance.
Nice.
And they end up it starts this kind of cat and mouse thing, because they're essentially both killers. And
that's weird.
But one of them's trying to stop the other one to a degree, or is he trying to stop him, or is he just trying to kind of learn from him? It's a really interesting, very quiet, slow, but very unsettling film. It takes a while to get into. You've got to be in the right frame of mind. And then literally there's one shot about, I can't remember, it's probably about halfway through that jolts you out of your seat. And it's not even it's not a jump scare or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's actually a shot quite far away. It's through the POV of the main character. He sees something that instantly changed the movie for me and made me just go, oh, I'm fucking in. I am in.
Really?
And I was into the end till that point, yeah.
Jesus.
So it's a slow burn. You got to be prepared to go for it, but really, really worth it if you're willing to put in the time. It's not a super long movie, but it feels like it's very slowly paced.
Nice.
So you do feel the length.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely worth it. And that's just on SBS On Demand.
Cool.
I Am Not a Serial Killer.
I'm Not a Serial Killer.
Yeah.
Bad deal. Tusk and I'm Not a Serial Killer.
Some nice horror movies for you there.
Watch some horror movies.
Nicholas.
Or if you would like to watch what we're going to watch next week,
next week. So next week, it's the return of our famous series of movies that we should have watched by now that we haven't.
On our list.
It's on our list. And we're doing the Italian horror masterpiece,
Suspiria. We have never seen it before.
The film with the greatest tagline of all time. What is it? The only thing scarier than the last 10 minutes of this film are the first 90 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm like, wow,
1977.
1977.
Yep.
This will be my first foray into Italian horror. I think.
Dario Argento.
Argento,
yeah, same.
I'm not sure if I feel like I actually have seen randomly something
Of his?
I've seen an Argento film before. I've definitely seen, but not his like old school Italian stuff.
Oh, okay.
I've seen his kind of half
Kick into Hollywood.
trying to do Hollywood stuff.
Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair deal.
It's not even Hollywood stuff. Just more when he's tried to work within a slightly more mainstream.
Fair deal.
Yeah, angle.
Bring it on. I can't wait for this thing. This has been a long time coming.
Absolutely.
This makes all the lists. This is always either second or third on the list of
people claim this as
scariest.
Yeah, as being one of the all-time scariest movies. I think I'm going to have a hard time with this one because this is going to be the kind of thing I've realized what doesn't scare me anymore.
Yep.
But this does scare me. This kind of stuff still scares me.
I don't know what it's about. I'm going in full blind. I'm going to go blind.
If you do want to watch this to join us in our conversation next week, it's available on
Stanley.
And if you want to watch it for free, you can actually watch it on Tubi TV or Tubi TV. Tubby TV, however you want to say it. Which is a free app that has a lot of really interesting stuff on it, but you just have to watch some ads while you're watching it, which is not a big deal.
Are the ads bad? Are they like, coming up next?
Well, what's really funny is that they don't always play because I don't know if they've got a lot of advertising deals set up just yet. So you can actually sometimes watch a whole thing without seeing an ad.
Oh, nice.
And then other times you get the same ad 17 times, which can be a little bit of can mess with your brain a little bit. But it's better than
But
sometimes,
it would probably work when you're watching Suspiria.
If you want to watch it for free, it's a couple of ads. That's what you got to deal with.
Bring it on.
So yeah, we're very excited about that for next week. But so join us in the conversation on all our socials, Nick.
Yep, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and or YouTube us. You can also stream us, like us, subscribe anywhere, which is apart from Podbean, I think it is.
Sure.
Otherwise, we're everywhere else. We're literally everywhere else.
Just chuck us into the old Googs. Give us a Googs.
Give it a Googs.
And you'll find us quite comfortably.
Exactly.
We're very excited for October. We hope you are too. Tell us what scary movies you're watching, guys, and we would love to hear
Tell us your fave. Tell us what you thought of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
What was your favourite one of the series? Was it 2? Because it's a secret gay film.
Yeah,
amazing. I can't wait.
A secret metaphor for homosexuality. Which is
I want to be inside you. You're like, whoa, okay.
I think this is going to be wild. I'm really excited to watch it.
I love it.
But until then, Nicholas, it's been a blast.
I'll see you later. I was going for a howl. Was it good, dude? Was it good?
See you next week, bitch. Is that what we got?
I like it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.